Happy 100th anniversary to the FRRL.
And I want to wish the club a happy 100th anniversary.
Want to wish FRRL a happy 100th anniversary.
Happy anniversary to the Fox River Radio League.
Happy 100th anniversary to the FRRL.
Congratulations to the FRRL on their 100th anniversary.
Happy 100th anniversary to FRRL.
And happy anniversary, FRRL. I live in Morris.
Happy 100th anniversary.
Happy 100th.
Happy anniversary, FRRL. Happy 100 years for the FRRL.
Happy anniversary to the club.
Happy anniversary to the FRRL.
And I want to wish the club a very happy 100th anniversary.
The Fox River Radio League a happy 100th anniversary.
And congratulations to the club for the 100 years and many more to come.
Happy anniversary, FRRL.
If you're interested in ham radio, this is the place to be.
Congratulations on 100 years, Fox River Radio League.
Happy 100th anniversary. A happy 100th anniversary.
And I want to say happy 100th to the FRRL.
Oh, wishing Fox River Radio League a happy 100th anniversary.
Yeah, that.
Happy birthday, 100th anniversary to the FRRL.
Happy anniversary, FRRL.
Happy 100th anniversary.
I am Roger Barrett. A lot of things don't last much past a year, let alone 100 years. That's something special. KD9, Tango Tango Victor, and happy anniversary, FRRL.
And, I did it again.
Happy 100th anniversary, FRRL.
Happy 100th anniversary, FRRL.
W9JB from Elburn.
I'm the current treasurer of the club.
I am Kurt, KD9 SUV.
Happy 100th anniversary, FRRL.
Well, happy anniversary to the FRRL, which I belonged to a long time.
And I would like to wish the FRRL a fine 100th anniversary. Congratulations.
Happy anniversary, FRRL.
And happy 100th anniversary to the FRRL.
I'm sure that 100 years from now, the club will be celebrating its 200th.
Happy anniversary. This is Whiskey 9 Golf, India Golf.
Dayton Hamvention and Fox River Radio League. Welcome, 100 years. Wow, that's terrific. It takes a lot of club members to make a club go for that long, and you're making it happen. And we all wish that you have a great 100th birthday.
Hello, Fox River Radio League. Congratulations on 100 years anniversary. Great job and keep it going.
Fox River Radio League presents the 100th Anniversary Committee's production of Can't Ever Quit. This is Blackhawk Park, the site of Aurora's West High School, and the place where we celebrate the origins of the club. In 1922, a 16-year-old Erland Olson was on his way to a wireless club meeting. There were very few radio signals in the air at that time, but he and his fellow classmates wanted to hear them all. It was here in 1919 that a young, energetic science teacher, Sylvester Miller, embarked on his career with West Aurora. Mr. Miller made the trek into Chicago and passed his operating license, being rewarded with the call sign 9UR. This 2-year term license provided the wireless club an opportunity to get on the air. The West Aurora Yearbook of 1920 printed the following information regarding the radio club.
This year marked the reorganization of a radio club in West Aurora. During the long, dark years of World War I, amateur radio activity was at a standstill. Nevertheless, as soon as the government ban was lifted, West High was one of the first to establish a station. Under the leadership of Mr. Miller, we organized, formulated a constitution, and elected officers.
Ole graduates from West Aurora High School in 1924. He had served as vice president of the wireless club that year. Not long after graduation, he rode the train into Chicago to take his license exam. Imagine his excitement when he was granted 9 NE for his efforts. Like-minded young men, many still teenagers from local high schools, got together and set down the foundation of our club. They wrote and ratified the first Fox River Radio League Constitution and bylaws. The first election of leadership resulted in Ole's good friend from West, Walter Bowerly, 9 ALZ, voted in as president. Joseph Stews, 9 DTC, a young fellow from Naperville, became our first secretary. The preamble of the club constitution they wrote reads,
"We, the undersigned, being desirous to secure for ourselves the pleasures and benefits of the association of persons commonly interested in amateur radio, by furthering better cooperation among its members, by developing individual efficiency, by furthering..."
They quickly got to work and organized the first club Hamfest, or convention as it was referred to. The location for the fest was Phillips Park. Reports indicate 34 were in attendance. It was also in 1928 when the FRRL sent in their application to the American Radio Relay League to become an affiliated member. The document reveals there were 11 members, and of those, 8 were also members of the ARRL. This letter was signed September 15, 1928. By December, the club received notice from the ARRL stating,
"It gives me great pleasure to advise you that at a meeting of our executive committee just held, the application of your club for affiliation with the ARRL was formally presented and your club was declared a duly affiliated society."
The momentum of the club is quickly growing at the start of 1929. Our club logo is first revealed on club stationery. Planning for the second annual Hamfest was being conducted at the May 10th club meeting held in the Aurora National Bank Building in downtown Aurora. This is a copy of the Hamfest agenda, sent to the ARRL for their review. The games began at 2:30 with a tube rolling contest, call logging contest, and the wire unraveling contest. That must have been a big hit. Several members indicated they were willing to help with the fest, including Ole, W9NE, his friend Waddy, W9BLT, and a young man from Wheaton, Grote Reber, W9GFZ.
We have made arrangements with the Aurora Leland Hotel, which is the largest in Aurora. Our smoker will be held in the Sky Room on the 20th floor, and the Sunday noon banquet will also be there. The stunts will be held in the Phillips Park, easily reached by streetcar or auto. The charge, including the banquet, is $3.
There was a note on the back of the agenda sent to the League which reveals how the FRRL was dissatisfied with the lack of promotional support of the first annual event in 1928.
We have deeply regretted the lack of support from headquarters in regard to advertising this project. We feel that an affiliated club should have that cooperation.
Well, those young FRRL boys certainly weren't bashful. In late October of 1929, the stock market crashed.
the banks were being overrun by depositors wanting to withdraw their money. The Great Depression saw nearly 25% of the workforce, some 12.8 million Americans, unemployed. However, licensed radio operators, those who studied electronics and engineering, were somewhat isolated because technical industries continued to demand their unique skills. The earliest known photo of the club was taken on June 13, 1930. We know from census data what these members were doing during this time. Our first president, Walter Bowerly, W9ALZ, was 20 years old. He was employed as an automotive electrical engineer. Joseph Stews, W9DTC, our first secretary, was one of the older guys in the group at age 29. He was employed at a local electrical shop in Naperville, working his way through college as an engineering student at Illinois Institute of Technology. Lauren Bristol, W9EHF, was 22 years old. In 1930, he was a radio operator at the local Mooseheart radio station, WJJD. This is Thomas Merritt, W9GEH, a 16-year-old Aurora East High School student. A recent grad from Wheaton High School is Grote Reber, W9GFZ, age 18. He enrolls at the Illinois Institute of Technology for the fall term. Another 16-year-old East High School lad is Dallas Wolf, W9FID. Harold Hankins, W9EBA, is 19. He's employed at the American Well Works as a mechanical engineer. Here is Stephen Bushman, W9CFQ. At age 17, he is a student at Marmion Academy. At age 25, Clarence Philobaum, W9AKF, works at a local radio sales and repair shop. Paul Berg, W9CII, is also a student at Aurora East and is 17 years old. Another member of the FRRL at this time, Clayton Geiger, W9JKM. He's a 27-year-old engineer with Western United Gas and Electric. This is another lifelong member of the FRRL, Waddy Gibbs, W9BLT. Here, he's 20 years old and is working as a draftsman at Richards Wilcox Manufacturing Company. That brings us to our 23-year-old telephone company engineer, Ole Olson, W9NE. He, like Waddy, and several others, continue a lifelong interest in amateur radio and the FRRL.
The young men of the Fox River Radio League, with their enthusiasm and can't ever quit attitude, continued to plan their third annual Hamfest. This announcement appears in the June 1930 QST magazine.
The Fox River Radio League extends a cordial invitation to all amateurs to attend its third annual Hamfest to be held at Aurora, Illinois on June 21st and 22nd. A real get-together is planned and a good time is promised to all who are there.
A Hamfest announcement in the Aurora Beacon News summarizes the planned event.
It is to be a convention of amateur and non-commercial radio operators who gather from all parts of Illinois and adjacent states.
The FRRL has an excellent reputation for hosting the outstanding amateur event of the year. It was held at Exposition Park on Aurora's north side. The $1 registration fee provided the festgoer the ability to participate in all of the events, including the banquet, free dancing to a fine orchestra, and eligible for contests and prizes. The Hamfest has moved around the Fox Valley. Several events were held in Phillips Park, a favorite spot due to the family atmosphere. Jumping ahead to the early 1980s saw a change in venue. A new site had been selected, the Kane County Fairgrounds in St. Charles. Hams from the surrounding area planned on going to the FRRL Hamfest on the fourth Saturday in August. The early 1990s saw another change of venue. This time, Wabanzi Community College in Sugar Grove was selected. Our VEC team hosted testing sessions at the fest. Due to construction in 2004, the Hamfest was moved from Wabanzi to Aurora Central Catholic High School. The effort of setting up tables, selling tickets, making sure vendors were scheduled, and publicity was a very big job. The flea market brought in the masses. Coordination of the Hamfest continued with several different club members taking up the challenge of event chair. Aurora Catholic remained the home of the FRRL Hamfest until 2017, which marked the last fest put together since its beginnings in 1928.
Sunny skies and mild temperatures greeted amateurs this year at the Fox River Radio League's 2006 Hamfest. Sunday, July 9th turned out to be a better than expected day at the Aurora Central Catholic High School, the location for this year's fest. Gate sales were brisk again this year, with several club members volunteering to support the effort. Carol, WD9CNW, and Tim, N9TO, parked their RV near the entrance to provide an excellent temporary office for the sales staff. Our club treasurer, Larry, W9OKI, organizes the monies collected for our Hamfest. There is a lot of work that goes into running an event like this. Our club was lucky to have two very capable people in charge of the event. Kermit, W9XA, has several years of Hamfest experience and doubles as our Master of Ceremonies. He announces the prize drawings and special announcements throughout the day. Our rookie Hamfest chairman this year was Dean, KC9EOQ. There are many details that need watching over, including setup, advanced ticket sales, and commercial vendors. Dean stepped up to help our club make this a smooth running event. The on-air repeater voice of this year's Hamfest was Lloyd, KC9DMS. Lloyd handled the talk-in duties with his extensive knowledge of the Aurora area. If you were on the Fox 2-meter machine Sunday, you heard Lloyd guiding people into our venue this year. A few commercial vendors find our flea market the right place to sell their wares. The local ham community relies on these folks to provide them with just the right connector or part for that special project. A unique antenna support system was on display again this year from fellow club member Charles, KC9DAO. His unique design has proven itself many times at our field day site. Many hams sell their equipment out of the back of their vehicles as well. There are lots of odds and ends to be found in the flea market. From old tube radios to the more modern digital equipment, most anything can be found out in the flea market area. The school's auditorium is transformed into a vast display of ham radio treasures. Commercial vendors set up the night before with the help of FRRL volunteers. New radio equipment, including antennas, power supplies, books, batteries, and more, can be purchased. We are fortunate to have so many excellent vendors come to our popular Hamfest each year. What year did the FRRL hold its first Hamfest? That's the question you had to answer in order to earn a free bottle of water. A small QRP VHF transmitter and digital voice recorder were disguised in a block of wood by Dick, AH6EZ. This little setup was hidden several times around the fest grounds and hunted down by many hams. The fox hunt turned out to be a lot of fun this year. The FRRL Hamfest is a popular place to purchase new and old gear or take your amateur radio exam for the first time or to upgrade. You meet the nicest people at the fest, experienced hams who have attended many Hamfests over the years, or soon-to-be hams that are visiting for their first time. Thanks to all who came out to help during the 2006 Hamfest this year. It's our club's biggest fundraising event of the year, and we thank you for your support.
How did we get our Can't Ever Quit W9CEQ call? It's a very interesting story. During the Depression years, our club continued to hold regular meetings. In the mid-1930s, the meetings were held twice a month at the Knights of Columbus Hall. However, there is about to be a new club in town. May 6, 1935, the Works Progress Administration was formed. The WPA funding allowed for community education classes of all sorts to be offered. The Aurora Recreation and Playground Department held radio training classes. This 1937 Beacon News article begins to tell the story of the W9CEQ call sign.
It was planned to have the radio club, which was formed from frequenters of this department, to do the actual work of construction so that they could master the details of radio work and familiarize themselves with the possibilities of such work by actual experience.
There is another club, the Aurora Radio Club. They held their radio classes and meetings on the third floor of the Stolp Building at 10 Fox Street, downtown Aurora. One young man who was there is Leonard Hartman. He graduated from West Aurora in 1937 and had his amateur radio license W9ZGF. The WPA radio class wanted to use their club-built apparatus. So being licensed, Leonard applies for the club call. He receives the now famous W9CEQ. High above street level, the young men of the Aurora Radio Club stretch a wire from the 10 Fox rooftop to the back of the stage loft of the Paramount Theater. Their equipment is now on the air. In the fall of 1938, Hartman is off to the University of Illinois. The WPA radio instructor during this time is John McFarland, W9MIX. After Hartman leaves for college, McFarland takes over the trustee duties of the W9CEQ club call. War in Europe is heating up. Americans learn they will most likely be asked to get involved. The WPA-funded radio classes will come to an end in 1940. McFarland, as a member of the FRRL, changes the club name from the Aurora Radio Club to the Fox River Radio League.
Happy Field Day 2024.
Welcome to Field Day 2024. The Fox River Radio League is celebrating its centennial year. We're here in St. Charles at Leroy Oaks Forest Preserve. I'm Sawyer Zielinski, KD9WUX. Everyone is setting up their stations and getting ready for Field Day. Let's see what they're doing.
Chuck Palmer, W9IUX, hauled the Navy Reserve generator out to the 1951 Field Day site in Oswego. The FRRL got set up at a nice spot with several trees for antenna supports and a large area to pitch a few tents. It seemed like an idyllic site, complete with a horse grazing in the pasture. The trees also provided much-needed shade. Oli, W9NE, is sitting and chatting with one of the ladies in the group. There's a potluck and various groceries on the makeshift table as well. Field Day is the single most important operating event which members of the club have and continue to participate in.
I have been Field Day chairman several times, a couple times in the 60s, and then again around 1999 to 2000, maybe 2003. We were at Jericho Road Park and then also at Mooseheart for quite a number of years. I think one of the club members had a contact with Mooseheart, and they got permission for the club to hold Field Day there. And that took place for, it may not have been 10 years, but it was for several years. And I still remember Benny Benson going around putting up signs on all the trees that had poison ivy, beware. And some of us, including myself, fell victim to the poison ivy a time or two.
And I kind of stuck my head in and, oh, hey, you want to operate? Oh, no. I just got licensed, I haven't been on the air yet, I like, oh, well, tell you what, why don't you sit down and log for a while? That's not hard. So I sat down and he showed me, okay, this is what you do. And so I was logging his contacts for him for a while. And then all of a sudden he gets up, okay, now it's your turn. I go, what? So sit down. So he sat me down in the operator chair, put the headphones on, gave me the mic, and he said, okay, basically you just, CQ, W9, CEQ, field day.
Field day is kind of an exciting thing. It's been so much fun. The field days are just exciting. I remember W9NJP, first time I met him, he's got a wrench in his hand, and we're swinging this wrench to get antennas over a tree. Oh my God, we didn't have any helmets or nothing. We could have used them because, when that wrench goes, you better look out. You're going to get whacked, and it's like, holy moly. But it was a lot of fun to do all that. I think the setup was almost more fun than the operating because it was craziness. You want young kids to come. You want them to have a place to operate, or anybody who hasn't operated. So we had a go-to station. It's like nobody knew what a go-to station was. And so I said, okay, I'm taking over the go-to station. So I just did that myself.
The Get on the Air station did not always exist. It came about in 2002.
Good now. Whiskey 9, Charlie Echo, Quebec.
I have a Whiskey November Papa first, ending Quebec, stand by.
Okay, so he heard us. This is good.
Please copy 2 Alpha, Ohio.
So when he calls our call sign, you're going to call back.
I have your 2 Alpha, Ohio, and
8 Alpha,
I will give you my 2 Alpha,
Illinois.
Ohio, QSL.
Then he's going to tell you 2A, Ohio.
QSL, thanks. Good luck to you. Station ending Quebec.
Good. Whiskey 9, Charlie. Whiskey 9? Yeah.
Whiskey 9, Charlie Echo, Quebec.
8 Alpha.
Okay, Whiskey 9, Charlie Echo, Quebec. Yeah. Good afternoon. Please copy my 2 Alpha, Ohio.
Got it. Okay. You replied. It did. Key. 8 Alpha, Illinois.
8 Alpha, Illinois.
Okay, I copy 8 Alpha, Illinois, QSL.
QSL.
You should thank our former Central Division Director, Dick Isley, W9GIG, for this inclusive feature of Field Day.
Dick, W9GIG, when he was the director, first came onto the board of the ARRL and made friends very rapidly, as Dick was known to do. And they appointed him to a committee to work on how to get more young people and new hams involved with Field Day. And so out of that committee grew Dick's suggestion for what is now called GOTA, or G-O-T-A, Get on the Air. And the idea was that Field Day would have a station with a separate call sign, specially carved out in the rules so that they could operate a station with new people that have never been on the air before to give them a chance to operate. And so the Get on the Air station idea was basically Dick's.
Through the years, the club has invited the public to visit their setups. The Aurora Beacon News and surrounding newspapers publish submitted press releases from the club. Some years, a reporter and a photographer would visit the site and print an article or two.
June 24th and 25th, thousands of amateur radio operators will put their emergency communication skills to the test for Field Day 2006. Amateur radio operators from the Fox River Radio League will compete in this annual event in which the public is encouraged to be a part. You can even help our club gain points in the contest by making radio contacts. Come experience the hobby we call amateur radio. Field Day, June 24th and 25th at Jericho Park in Aurora. To find out more, visit www.frrl.org.
You got 10 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of field day. End of field day. Thank you, everybody, for doing field day 2024.
And that's it. And that concludes Field Day 2024 for the FRRL. See you next Field Day. This is Sori Zielinski, KD9WUX 73.
May 31st, 1989, the Aurora Beacon News contributing writer Debbie Bragg wrote, "Good communication seems to be the key to success in the Mid-America Canoe Race that will be held Sunday on the Fox River." Race Secretary Paul Heinkel of the Fox Valley Park District said hundreds of hours of planning have gone into the coordination of emergency services that will be available to the race participants and crowds of onlookers at the 29th annual event. John Ingram, WB9MRL, a member of the Fox River Radio League, said ham radio operators will be on hand at every portage and on boats in the river to relay emergency messages and race information. The August 1989 edition of the Arkover reviewed the details of the event. John was the club's event chairperson in 1989 and congratulated the FRRL crew with a nice work comment in the article.
Former Aurora Beacon News Outdoors writer Bob White, whose real name is Roy O'Neill, had an idea back in 1960. He suggested a canoe race event be held on the Fox River, inviting all in the Fox Valley to participate. FRRL member Lou Petkus, K9LUW, was there from the start, helping to coordinate communications in support of the event. Canoes launched into the river at South Elgin, scurried around several portages along the route, winding up in Aurora.
Okay, so with the canoe race, this was before I was licensed. Went up to the meeting place that we had the Explorer Post meetings up at Riverbank Laboratories in Geneva. And up on the third floor, there was a temporary repeater set up on 2-meter AM so that the finish line could hear the actual list of station or canoes participating up leaving Elgin. And because the path was too long between, South Elgin at the start and Illinois Avenue and Aurora on the finish, they put a 2-meter AM receiver, which had the audio feeding a 2-meter AM receiver, a transmitter on another frequency far off in the band. And they were able to do a relay back and forth with a manual repeater that was manned and operated, just passing the, audio from the two stations back and forth.
Well, welcome to St. Charles Park District's beautiful St. Mary's Park today. Our 10-mile course stretches from here at Mount St. Mary's Park through the beautiful towns of St. Charles, Geneva, Batavia, North Aurora, and into Aurora, finishing at our beautiful McCullough Park at the Prisco Community Center of the Fox Valley Park District.
In heat number 1 today, from Aurora, Canoe 10, Grinds and Grinds. Canoe 11, Grinds and Grinds from Aurora.
Well, thank you for joining us at the 45th Annual Mid-America Canoe Race. I'm Lorraine Beasley, the race secretary this year, and I wanted to let you know how much we really appreciate the Fox River Radio League. We could not do this race without them. They provide the communications up and down the river from the start at each portage as well as the finish line. Not only do they help us with day of registration, general communications, synchronizing our clock, they also help with general communications and weather alerts and announcements. And we're so fortunate to have this group of people at each area, and it's crucial to the success and safety of our race. And we encourage anyone, young people out there, scouts, and also adults, both men and women, to get involved with this wonderful club. It's a great idea, and it's also a great camaraderie and a great way to learn a new skill. A lot of people, 40 and 50-year-olds, are out there reinventing themselves, and this is a great club to join to get involved in the radio communications, and there's always new technical things. So if you're interested in that, give them a call.
I took on the communications chair for the St. Charles, the MS Walk. I ran that for 26 years. They tried doing it by themselves one year. No. We were there anyway, and we got the name of their angels because one of the coordinators, she walked up to me and says, our radios don't work. Oh, God, can you help us? Sure. We took care of the food, the water, logistics. So we became her angels. And the next year she'd come up and says, and I'd walk up to her and she goes, my angels are here. My angels are here. And it was so happy because my guys could see how excited she was to have them here. What we do here as ham operators is provide the logistics control, moving of materials, food, help, whatever they need between different stops. Many of the walkers here have MS, and so it's a major thing to take care of them. We've been doing this for a number of years, and it's actually quite dear to many of our hearts. We have some friends who have died of it, so we're really glad to be able to do it. Number of amateurs in this event usually is about 10 to 15, depending on the year. This year we have 11, which is quite a good number. The weather is a little on the cold side with a cold breeze, and this is typical. The walk used to be 3 weeks earlier, and we've had snow, so this is better than snow and rain. For this walk, the technology we use tends to be mostly, we've tried a lot of things. We've tried running our own base as a net headquarters. We've tried running Simplex, didn't work very well. They've tried using Nextel and cell phones. And being in a river valley like this, it's very hard to get Nextel to work in this location. The reason we come back every year is that we are a non-centralized communication system. We don't depend on one typical system to work. The Nextel and cell phones, although a great idea, they don't work out of the valley very well here. We are very, very reliable. We have multitudes of surplus equipment. We have car vehicles running mobiles. We have HTs. We have a gentleman on bicycle today riding the course just to check out the course and make sure anyone that needs a ride maybe on the course, he can help them out and then get a hold of us to pick them up. The course is approximately a 7-mile course starting at Potawatomi Park in North St. Charles, going along the river. The first rest stop is 1.5 miles out at Langham Park in St. Charles. It's a small park. You don't really notice it when you drive past unless you know where it is. But then it goes back across the road and goes down the river and turns around at Fabian Park, kind of down the hill from the windmill. Our stations are at the starting line here, at Langham Park, and at the windmill. With me is Abby Gunnick, the coordinator of the MS Walk in St. Charles, Fox River area. Abby, what use is the amateur radio group to you as far as the walk logistics?
Okay. It's my eyes and ears. I'm the chairperson of the walk, the volunteer chairperson, and I can't leave the walk site. But all your guys are wonderful help. They're parked at the rest stops and along our route, and they're my eyes and ears to know what's going on along the route, who's where, how many people are left, when we need to be ready for people to come back here. So it's a great asset.
The Fox River Radio League has been providing logistics support as far as materials being moved, feeding people. I believe we're operating a SAG vehicle again this year.
Yes, you take a SAG vehicle that runs the route back and forth in case anybody needs to get back here that can't make the walk. Today you've brought food out, you've brought t-shirts out, you've helped my volunteers tremendously. And it's great. You basically take care of the route for us logistically.
We try to take care of them from the time you can't see them to the time to come back.
Absolutely.
And thank you very much for giving us the honor of helping out the MS people.
I very appreciate all you guys volunteering. You know, it's a long day for all of you, and a lot of you come out, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, the horse trials was a public service event, which, as we learned as amateur radio operators, public service is a big part of amateur radio, and I believe it still should be.
Throughout the 1980s and 90s, the FRRL provided much-needed communications for the Wayne DuPage Hunt Club horse trials. The equestrian events were held annually, requiring several ham volunteers.
I usually had to have 20. Sometimes I would have 25. There was a core group of people. There is no doubt about that. One of the people that was always there because he loved doing it was John Ingram, WB9MRL. And there was others that like that I could count on and go to, and I knew it was just good. And it was usually a full day out, or at least 6 hours, at least.
Beginning in 1985, cross-country events were being held in Warrenville on the Brooks McCormick estate. St. James Farm quickly rose to international attention, hosting Olympic qualifying events. The FRRL communications team was working side by side with event organizers and staff.
At one time, Captain Mark Phillips from the UK came over here to help set up the course and make sure the jumps that he thought were the way they should be. The thing that I remember more than anything else is I think just about everybody to a person that went out there and did horse trials or any of that type of event always came back feeling good. Everybody was happy.
There are so many additional stories to tell about our historic club. Here are just a few items to be celebrated in later episodes. Grote Reber, W9GFZ, was an FRRL member in the 1930s. He built his own radio telescope in the backyard of his Wheaton home. Grote became world famous. He is the father of radio astronomy. The W9CEQ World's Tallest Ham Shack was on the air in 1982 from high above Chicago. Sears, Roebuck & Company granted our club access to their 103rd floor observation deck and the 110th floor for our antennas. Longtime member Benny Benson, W9CZA, was a radio operator aboard the Pan Am Clipper, flying between San Francisco and Hawaii. Benny explains how he first got interested in ham radio. His adventures in the South Pacific are fascinating.
Hi, Sonny, this is Jack. How hard is it to dock to the space station? Over.
Have you had a chance to communicate with the International Space Station? John, AG9D, organized a successful contact between his son's elementary school in Boulder Hill and the ISS. John served as an ARIS U.S. school mentor and later joined the International ARIS team, making it possible for kids around the globe to talk to an orbiting astronaut. In January of 1958, the U.S. launched its first satellite, Explorer 1. Fellow club member Roger Barton, W9LOG, discovered the time and location data being published by the Smithsonian Institution was wrong. His data was corroborated and was used to correct the time and location tables. Our club celebrates the courage of Joy Rohrig, WB9IDQ. She sent in her application to be the first teacher in space.
It gives me goosebumps just to think about doing it, Rohrig said. I can't imagine anything more wonderful than seeing Earth from out there. It would have to change my entire perspective of life.
Dick Illman, AH6EZ, proved that with the right design and engineering, a broadband over power line product could be built to coexist with ham operators. Dick was protecting the hobby he loves. He was a Motorola engineer and put in the time and effort to do it right. He received the 2006 Dayton Hamvention Technical Excellence Award for his efforts. Our club has had 2 ARRL Central Division directors. Dick Isley, W9GIG, served from 2001 until 2016. Our club president, Kermit Carlson, W9XA, continued the work from 2016 until 2021.
Evelyn and Mike, it's so great to have you here on 630 Naperville. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Denny Barfus, W9HI, visited the NCTV 17 producers. His enthusiasm for our century-old club got their attention. Television celebrities, Evelyn, W9EVE, and Mike, K9FE, did an excellent job of getting the word out about our club. Local newspapers in June of 2024 featured an article written by Brenda Shorey of Shaw Media. Evelyn, W9EVE, submitted a press release to all of the newspapers in hopes someone would pick up the story of our century-old club. Dan and Melanie Zielinski have 4 boys, all ham radio operators. At the time the article was printed, Benjamin, W9ZVE, was 16, Gabriel, N9IRS, was 14, Sawyer, KD9WUX, was 13, and his brother Thatcher, KD9WZY, was 11.
CQ, W9CEQ, special event station for the FRRL 100th anniversary.
We celebrated our centennial year by hosting an on-air operating event. The special event was organized by Gary, K9MMS, and Dick, AH6EZ. Running for 2 weeks, June 1st through the 15th, members of the club were encouraged to operate using the club call W9CEQ.
Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate it. This is celebrating 100 years as a radio club for the Fox River Radio League.
Hams from around the world tuned their radios and made contacts with our members. A W9CEQ special event QSL card was sent out to all who made contact. At the August meeting, Gary and Kermit handed out certificates commemorating the event.
You have to learn a lot of things, and it's not all covered in the tests you take and things. That just makes sure that you know the basics and know the rules and what you're allowed to do and not do. But these people that have been doing it for long periods of time, which many of them had been, they have experimented, they've tried, they know what to do with certain things. Well, so when you have a question, you usually have to go to one of those persons. They used to call them Elmers, and they would help you, always help you, very friendly.
They said, bring one of your interests that is not ham radio related. That was fascinating. I don't know if they've ever done that since, but that was singularly great, just to see what people were passionate about. And I brought some little succulent plants that I had. You know, stuff you never know.
Like everything I've done here, I've had help with from club members. You know, other people have come here and helped me with running coax, we used to have a couple that did teleclimbing that were used to be members of our club. And they're the ones that put up my HF antenna up on the tower. Actually, both HF antennas on my tower.
Becoming a member of the FRRL was valuable to me in that I got a chance to meet a lot of hams in the area where I live and nearby. So that it was really fun for me to be in a group of people that had similar interests, and the knowledge base there is kind of remarkable. So it's been really interesting talking to people, getting different perspectives on their activities and their interests.
But then Erickson came up with this idea of working as many countries as you could in a year, but I was gung-ho in that, so I made it the W89 TPQ challenge, and we did it for, as I say, that was a big deal. We'd go to these banquets, and I mean, it was one of the highlights of the banquet.
Well, we were really delighted that at the outset of this new adventure that the FRRL had, they had classes available for folks who wanted to get started. So in addition to the manuals, there were also professionals that had structured and organized classes and meetings. In person, at that time it was online, for folks who were getting started, and that was a tremendous help.
When you go to the club, you always had someone, usually an Elmer, who was willing to spend their time to help you out a little bit. And I know all the fellows that I had any influence on also made friends and got Elmers from people in the club.
The club has always been willing to help other people, and usually if someone had a question or something, that there would be somebody there to help them out.
Our club gets along with everyone, and we welcome everyone. And that's one of the reasons the FRRL is so important.
The club has so many talented people. It's you meet people, you say, holy smokes, I can't tell you, they're wonderful people.
The kind of group that you're friends with for life, I would think. I mean, all of the people that I've met that I'm friends with, I'm still friends with as long as they're still alive. And you know, and I can't say anything bad about this group of people. You know, if you need a friend, if you need some help, you can count on these people.
I really enjoyed the process of meeting people, learning more about the club. The people that are committed to helping the celebration be at its best have really touched my heart in so many ways, because they are out doing fantastic work to bring together a program to showcase what has happened in the club over 100 years. We did great. It was awesome. Everything was wonderful. People came together, people talked to each other, people from all different walks of life, bonded only by ham radio, amateur radio, came together and did this. And isn't it amazing?